Hi guys, my name is Markus and I'm an MTT coach on Poker Academy. Today we'll be going through a hand review of one of my latest final tables in the mini Sunday marathon. And if you want to see more of that and want to work with me, you can just click on the link in the description below, and yeah, you can just register for the courses. You can have group lessons and individual lessons with me, so follow that link and we can start right away. Now I will going through all my hands in the final table and talk a little bit about them. I have some specific hands so we can do some further analysis if I was playing correct or not. So let's start. If there was any action from other players, we will still go through that, but I'll mainly focus on my hands. As you see, I was going in as the chip leader of this tournament, so my plan was to play it fairly aggressive, especially to the mid stacks. Because of ICM pressure, they could not do so much if I was playing aggressively. And here we see already, like there was the first double up. He had the aces. And yeah, so nothing special here. It took some time until we had like the first real action and the first players busted. Then as a little just so you know, like first place was around 5K at this time. The ninth place here got around $250, so there was a lot to play for. And yeah, in this case, I was opening the king 10 off. As said, I was trying to be pretty aggressive. I mean, this is still like a standard opening, but yeah, because we're chip leader, we could open also a bit wider. As a little info to the players, I had a little look at their Shark Scope stats, so let me quickly show you that. And here you can just see a little overview of the player. So one player already opted out, so I couldn't find him. But the others, as you see, TC Project is probably, or was at that time, the most experienced player. He has quite a good profit, so I knew that I would need to take care of him, or need to think a bit more about my hands with him. Also, the Brazilian guy, quite some profit, but again, I found quite some leaks. We will see that later as well in another hand. And yeah, the rest of them, not that much info, but you see, yeah, the ability is not that great, and yeah, they haven't played so much. So I think I was pretty confident in my play and my game in that time. So yeah, let's continue. Just so you know, here that's the most experienced one, and that was the other guy. So yeah, nothing special here. Here, as said, I was opening a bit wider because I could be the aggressor, being the biggest stack, and therefore I just put out the c-bet here because he could not fold, he could not call that much here. Usually you could at least call once with ace high, for example, but here it's pretty hard for him to continue because he's in the middle. Like his chip stack is not in the middle of the final table, so it's pretty hard for him to really keep going. So I could just steal the spot. Yeah, then we go to a pretty interesting hand here. So standard defend for me with ace 4, 8-4. We check the flop. I decide to lead pretty big on the turn. The thing for that is that he was a pretty sticky player. You see, he was pretty active. He likes to see a showdown and likes to just call. So I decided to go for a pretty big bet on the turn. The river is a pretty nice card for me, so I don't need to be afraid of any four card flush. And at that time, I was thinking, yeah, that because he might be thinking I'm bluffing a lot because I'm the chip leader, yeah, we'll just put maximum pressure on him. And yeah, just decided to go all in for his remaining chip, so almost like twice the size of the pot. And he actually snap called me with top pair. And just like that, we busted the first player, and GG to him, he finished in ninth place. We extended our chip lead then, so we decided to continue our aggression. As you see, like here, we just stealing with this big blind. He's second in chips at that time. He can't do a lot versus us in this case, so he cannot raise light, and therefore we can almost open everything. Same thing here for the 9-6. Uh, he decides to defend the big blind. On that board structure, of course, I mean we have a gut shot, so I think it's okay to check behind here. We could of course also still just c-bet on the flop because he was, for example, pretty light in his defending. He really liked to defend a lot of his big blinds. So yeah, we can just push him out on the turn a lot. Then we now decide to take a little step to maybe show like a delayed c-bet, for example, on the turn. He decides to call, and then the queen is actually a pretty good card for me because he can have like some tens, eights, or fives that he decides to call on the turn, and I can have a lot of Broadway, and this queen just improves so much of my range. So I decide to give it like a pretty value-ish looking river bet, and he just folds, and my 9 high wins the pot. Yeah, next hand is Queen Jack. I'm actually here because I knew that he was a good player. I decided to like get from the gas a little bit and not continue the aggression. In this case, I think I might have at least put a bet on the river because I can just represent so much, but I decided in this case to just check it behind, and you see he defended with ace jack, so he's not that light in there. So I think yeah, that's not that big of a thing. We continue. Here, little check raise. I'm folding the 10-3. Nothing special here. Again, yeah, that's another interesting hand maybe. So he continues. And yeah, there's the call. Then he checks, he goes in for another bet. He basically goes all in with this raise. And we see King 10 and King Queen on the showdown. So he double barrels and then calls. I really don't like this play because, yeah, he was, at least for the final table time, his stats show was that he was kind of defensive and not that aggressive. And you don't beat almost anything with King 10. Of course, you block some straight, but still, it's especially because of the ICM pressure. And yeah, I don't really like his call here. But anyway, he busts an eighth, so one player down. Here, for example, as I said, I would defend quite a lot, but he was opening 3x in this case, so then I think my 6-5 is way behind his range. He doesn't have that many chips anymore, so yeah, I think it's just fine. By the way, let me quickly at least show you the big blinds. So he had only 21 big blinds, so yeah, I think we can fold that here. Yeah, then we find nines in the small blind, and yeah, just decide he has like 27. He has 27 bigs. The big line is with 40, but again, he has to wake up with a monster to call us here. So we just put a lot of pressure on him. He's down to 11 big blinds, so he can't call that much. And yeah, we just get the yeah. Then here we have King Queen off, and yeah, now that he's a bit deeper, we know him from before the final table. He was, as you see, he was playing 30% of his hands, opening 20%, and actually like folding 75% to 3 bets. So I decided to just do exactly that. And yeah, so therefore I think the 3-bet is just fine. And yeah, we go to the next hand. Here, I actually decide to do the same thing again. This time he goes for the call. We see a flop of a7-3, and I decide to continue for 25%. He goes for the call, and the turn is, I don't think it's a really good card for us, so I decide to give it up and yeah, just fold to the river bet. I can now show you if this play was fine or not using Flopzilla. So first of all, let me show you. This would be my 3-betting range. I said pretty wide, so I'll be going for a lot of suited connectors, even like some weaker hands. As you see, I did it with 10-9-0, which is probably like the bottom of my 3-betting range here, but yeah, that's what I'm going for. And now we can just see what would the opponent in this case, what would he continue with. So for example, we can take out those hands because he would 4-bet them. He would probably also 4-bet queens, jacks, and even tens. Then again, we can have a small look what else he would continue with. So I guess he would raise fold all these hands. Same goes for this. And he would also fold all of these hands. He would, yeah, so there's, as you see, there's just quite a lot we already get to fold on before the flop is there. Yeah, so probably roughly like this. What we can also do, that's a nice thing for Flopzilla, we can give some hands a weight. So where we think that he maybe folds them sometimes, so in like 50% of the cases, I think he would fold those hands, even ace-10, and also, yeah, 9-8 suited, 8-7 suited. Then we see the flop. So let's have a second look again. So you see it's ace-7-3 with ace-7 of spades and the 3 of hearts. And now we want to see, like, what would he continue with? Oh, by the way, of course, he would fold. Oh, sorry. He would pretty sure fold like those bottom pairs. So yeah, that's like his range. He would have right now, and now we have to adjust that a little bit, but because if we go for the flop c-bet now, like the 20%, 25% in this case, meaning I can tell you afterwards. Now we'll just go for this. So for example, he would maybe call at 35% and raise 65% with his middle set. He would definitely raise his 2-pair combos. He would continue with all his top pair combos. He would probably continue with, let me quickly put that away. He would probably continue with all his middle pairs or like his over pairs. Yeah, as he sees nines and eights, he would continue with them at least once. Also like 8-7 suited, the 1.5 combos he might have, he will continue those. Yeah, he would fold weak pairs, probably he should not have. Yeah, like 6s and 5s would be the weak pairs, and he would probably fold them. Also, like every non-made hand, flush draws, as he was being also pretty aggressive, so I'd give that like a 50-50 chance if he would just call or raise them. And yeah, he could not have any open-enders, cannot have any gut shots. And yeah, he would also fold the 2-card backdoor flush draws. But anyway, as you see, it's the ace, all the ace with the ace X of hearts and like at 7, and those are already here in the middle pair and then the top pairs. So that would be his range. And as you see, he would continue with 47.1%. Now, what does that mean? If we continue for our 25% on the flop, he gets pot odds, as you see, of roughly 20%. So we need our bet to get him to fold only 20% of the time. That means that if he just folds below, if he only continues with less than 80%, our bet is just fine. As you see, he should only continue with roughly half his range. So this bet is just completely fine. Now we can continue on the turn. As you see, he would, like all those hands, I don't think he would do anything else than continuing. So he was made his flush. If straight is not possible, of course, he would still continue with his sets. And yeah, he can have no more 2-pair combos. He would probably still continue with his top pairs, and yeah, same with the nut flush draws. So in this case, he would continue with 80% of his range, and math-wise we still would need to, if we bet for example 25% again, which doesn't make a lot of sense on the turn, but it would still be mathematically okay to do that. But in this case, his range is just so narrow that yeah, a continuation doesn't make a lot of sense. That's why we decide to give it up on the turn. And yeah, finally on the river we just have 10 high. We didn't have any backdoors or something like that, so yeah, we just decide to fold it and yeah, give him the pot. It wasn't that big of a pot, so it's okay. So let's move on. Yeah, 8 deuce, nothing. Now we have the ace and the queen here, so we just decided to raise it up. We get the blinds. Same for this ace deuce. Again, it's a bit loose, but we're still chip leading, so we can do that. And we get the blinds again. Nice. Now here, again, 10 deuce is not good enough to defend it here, so we just give it up. Same for the 5 deuce and the small blind. Now we find ace queen, and we again decide to 3-bet him. He must have been pretty annoyed because we were doing that quite a lot to him. It works. We go for the a6 standard, and yeah, we get the folds again. Nothing special here. Jack 9 would have been an open, of course, normally, but here he decides to ship his 8 big blinds all in. So we just fold, and he gets the blinds. So here you just let me show you the chip stack. So he goes in, yeah, for his 19 big blinds versus the open, gets the folds. 6-4. Unfortunately, he decides to shove on the small blind. We can't call there. We also fold here. Yeah, then we have this nice hand, so we just open 8 deuce on the button, pretty loose, but as we're first in, and again, chip leading this final table, I think we can do that. And now he in the small blind decides to call. Um, at first, I mean, I was thinking his range would be actually pretty good. So I think if I check on the flop here, I can gain some calls on the later streets. So at least get 2 streets in on turn and river if they are in my favor. So for example, this 9 of spades is just a really good turn card. Now he even decides to go to lead on the turn for roughly half pot, or pretty much exactly half pot. And in this case, I was thinking, yeah, I have second pair, so I think I can just put in a little raise to give him the decision. So for example, if you had like some straight or some flush draws, which could be a lot of range, for example, like Jack 10 or maybe like Ace 3, Ace 5, Ace 6 and spades or something like that. Yeah, so to charge him for that. And yeah, then the king is an okay-ish card for me on the river. I said like he probably has like more nut flush draws than maybe. Of course, he could have like king queen, king jack or something like that as well. But yeah, I think he does not have that many kings. Nonetheless, I decide to check on the river, and he shows me a pair of threes. So yeah, I mean, I got the pots, which is fine, but yeah, I'm not sure about this line. So, but anyway, let's continue here. We found a pair of eights, and yeah, because he was really tight, I just decided to flat, especially because he was also already calling, and yeah, I wasn't sure if my eights were good there. And we see good decision, like he just instantly twice, yeah, 2 times the pot shoves on that ace high board. And yeah, we can easily fold here. Then he shoves on him. Yeah, here the ace 9. We can have actually here we can have a small look at the icy miser to see if how much we can call here. To do that, we just go into a hold'em manager. We right click on that hand. We can copy the stats of it. Then go on load hands and yeah, just paste in the story and voila, we can see our hand. So before we do, now we're going to calculate the Nash equilibrium so that everybody would be pushing perfect. So let's have a look at his shove-in range. He's 10 BB deep, so I mean, he would probably not shove these hands. I guess, yeah, the aces are fine, so let's go with this. And yeah, then let's have a look. and we see ace-9 would be pretty bad call. So I think what we did is right to just go for the fold. And yeah, let's see how this hand works out. Actually, the big blind decides to call. Now, short look at the big blind. So for that, yeah, we just would change the position here. Or actually, we can just see now if we, yeah, now that we have it here, he should actually just be calling this. I mean, we can change it here. So because then everybody folds, that's what happened. We still have the range here. As we said, we changed that a bit. So let's see what he should call. And yeah, we should see like ace-9-0 would be a slight plus EV call. So if it would be in the big blind, we could have called. But yeah, let's see what he actually called at the end, because he called and he made the call with ace-6 offsuit. So not a good call. He actually had kings, and yeah, just like that, he gets the double up. Yeah, here we decide to defend our big blind on that board. There's not much we can do other than folding, which we just do. Here again, yeah, of course, he was getting annoyed, but now that he was second last in chips, I think he wouldn't do that with a bad hand. So I mean, we can always, of course, limping is just fine with that hand, but we just should fold that to a raise, which we did. Yeah, then here, again, he was yeah, in this case, then the second shortest stack. And I would sometimes raise it. For example, if it was one of these two, I would 3-bet on the button because they have some stack and the ICM pressure, but in this case I just decided to flat. Unfortunately, he squeeze shoves his 20 bigs, and yeah, we just give it up. Then here another interesting hand. We have the 6-7 offsuit, and yeah, that board. I was at first thinking that he should be ahead in this range because I'm opening pretty wide, but then he checked the turn, so yeah, I was just thinking about stabbing here, and yeah, went for a pretty large bet to be also pretty polarizing. He decides to call, and yeah, I was thinking I was pretty sure that he still does not have the straight a lot, just because he would be afraid of like the flush draws that are out and maybe some other combos, and yeah, he would be better gone with only getting the chips on the turn. So what I did, I decided to just shove it in and yeah, put him on the decision again. As you see in this case, he had 26 big blinds, two shorter stacks than him, and yeah, after some thinking, he folded. So yeah, we took in another nice pot, 7 million. And yeah, so as you see here, like even some 3-bet folding. Then we decide to open our king jack here. We get the folds. We have ace-7 in the blinds. I was shortly thinking about just pushing it, but then again, his range is not that. Look for that into the Icemizer again. So again, we just copy the hand from the holder manager, paste it in here, and yeah. So we see here. Of course, before we start, we should adjust his range a little bit because I'm sure he would not open that wide. I still think he would go for most of the pocket pairs. So maybe like, yeah, probably like this, ace-9-0 is not. So yeah, we adjusted his range, and let's have a look here. Ace-7 suited, yeah, would be a pretty clear fold. So I think just flatting here is absolutely fine. So we just flat it, and yeah, on this continuation, we can just give it up, no backdoors, nothing, so just fine. Here again, if the chips or if the players are a bit deeper, I can go for a 3-bet here, but in this case I was just folding. Yeah, I'm just folding. And yeah, he won the hand with 9. I don't really like his defend. He was 10-6. Oh, with 20 blinds, I think it's a bit too wide, but nevertheless we can continue. Yeah, then our friend butts you again. After at least we gave him 2 orbits this time until we did it again, so we were 3-betting ace-9. Yeah, he wasn't really adjusting to that. I was 3-betting him from the button quite a lot, but yeah. So yeah, we continue. So king 9-0, easy open, and we get the blinds. There's a walk. Then we find jacks UTG, only get the blinds. Then we have a pretty good decision. I'll actually show you that hand in the IC Miser as well, because in that case I think I made a small mistake by pushing, but let's have a look. Again, we just gonna load up the hand, and yeah, let's see his limping range. Yeah, I think it's actually pretty good like this. It's probably pretty wide in here, maybe even hands like this. So yeah, something like that. And then we'll have a look and see, yeah, that king deuce suited is actually a fine push here, according to all the different stats. And yeah, that's why it's a fine push. Well, because that's exactly what we did. We just pushed. Again, with having 3 shorter stacks, or at least 1 even stack and 2 shorter stacks, we can do that pretty wide. And yeah, we get the pot. Here again, we just fold our 6-7, 7 deuce as well. Here there's a check raise. Then there's a shove and the call. He called with force. And yeah, king 9 no good, so there's the double up for him. Yeah, then here we decide to actually just open shove, because yeah, we have 2 shorter stacks and those stacks can't really do a lot, so we can put some pressure on them. The 9-6 is a fold, here is a raise fold. We get a walk here, pretty nice. Yeah, here we in this case decide to, instead of limping, just open it, because like raise folding I think is the way to go here. We give up the 8-3. Also ace-3 is suited here. It's close I think, but we decide to give it up in this case. And yes, you see we were able to steal a lot of blinds. We find the queens and decide to continue bet on that board. We get just the fold, so another nice pot for us. We get another walk, which is pretty nice. And you see not much going on for some time. Then he decided to suddenly open three big blinds for 3 hands in a row. Yeah. We can steal with Queen 8 here, which is nice. We have Ace Queen in the big blind here now. So he opens with only 13 bigs. He decides to reshove his 18 bigs, and what should we do here now? So let's have a short look. I'll quickly copy the hand again and yeah, paste it from the clipboard again. So yeah, let's have a look here. First of all, his open raising range. I guess it will not consist of these hands. Same goes for this. I guess the rest is okay. And yeah, then his reshoving range. So I think he will not do it with this. Probably also not with some of the pairs, and I also think he will not be doing it with, yeah, like that part of the suited aces. So yeah, king, queen, oh, yeah, probably more like this. So let's see. And we see that ace queen O still is a profitable reshove here. So yeah, with especially with all the money in hand, we decide to call. Unfortunately, here he has the ace king suited, so we double him up. But it's not too bad. We still have 40 million, so and yeah, so we here he opens 3x again. He donk shoves for twice the pot on the flop. He insta called him actually, and we see king jack and king 10 offsuit. So aggressive call by his side. The top pair holds up, and we lose another player. Here we open and yeah, have a pretty easy call for his shove. We were able to win this flip. He flops the top pair, but we can turn the flush, yeah, to bust another player, and we're already down to 5 players. Then we find the king 8 suited. Now the button defense. We make second pair. Like his range could be a lot of overcards, ace X and stuff, maybe some pocket pairs and so on. So I think we can just continue pretty small with our second pair, and that's already enough to get the pot. We get a walk here with king queen. Nothing special here. I might have open raised that versus him because I'm still the chip leader and there's two shortest decks, especially him, so I might have just put in a raise to force him to fold a lot. But yeah, anyway. Yeah, here we can actually have a look at this hand as well. We open 9-8 suited here. Let's have a look at Icemizer again. So yeah, we'll paste it again in. So yeah, we were open raising. Let's see. Yeah, as we are five-handed. Let's see, maybe I will open some more. For example, at least this, probably again 10-9 and this part. So yeah, opening a bit wider. And he with 9 big blinds. Yeah, I think that he probably also goes threes and deuces. I mean, he was short stacked and like last place. So I think that is actually pretty fine, probably even this hand. So yeah, something like that. And yeah, we see 9-8 suited is a plus EV call in this case. So yeah, it might not be the best hand, but yeah, nevertheless. So that's exactly what we did. We call here. Unfortunately, his ace jack holds up versus my 9-8, and we double him back to roughly 20 big blinds. So let's continue. We get a walk with king 7. Now here we have king 6. We decide to, in this case, raise it up. And yeah, we take a step at the turn. And on the river, I think we can have most of the ace X. Or some, yeah, we can have straights. We can have jacks if we decide to just delete c-bet because we wouldn't get a lot of action on the flop. And yeah, we put in a little sneaky bet of just shy of 20%. And yeah, that gets him to fold. Probably we even had the best hand with king high, so it's fine. Then here it's the 3-bet, 4-bet jam and the call, and actually it's the cooler of coolers, aces versus kings. And our Estonian regular busts the next player in 5th place. We open 4-5 here. We decide to not defend 7 deuce. And here we Yeah, I think it's okay. Like we could have probably went for it on the river, but as you see, just pre-flop he just called the opening with jacks, knowing he can't. Like he, if we find something, it's hard for him, and he should not risk too much because he's second in chips, and now the pay jumps are getting massive. So yeah, I think it's fine to. Actually, I like his bet on the turn there because we can have, yeah, we will have so many fives and tens, maybe a lot of flush draws and so on, and that's why also like a lot of ace highs, like maybe even ace three, ace five, something like that. So yeah, we could have probably went for it on the river, but yeah, we actually here a pretty close spot again. I can quickly show you that on ICMizer. So we see we open, he shoves it in, and ace 8-0 is even a slightly plus EV call. So we in this case decide to fold here. I thought it was just too close as we can see. Even a7 would be a call here, just starting from a6, even almost all the pocket pairs. I would have probably also called all the pocket pairs. Only I think threes or fours would have been close, but from fives definitely. And I would have also called ace9, I'm pretty sure. So yeah, that was a close one, but as we see, it would have been the correct call to make. However, we decide to fold here, and we continue. So we see some plays. You see standard open again with the ace jack of hearts. Ah, yeah, I was because of the jack's hand, for example, and the other time the ace jack earlier in the tournament. I think he would flat here with actually quite a big range of good cards. So I decided to just give it up. I mean, we just had like some backdoor straight draws, of course some overcards, but no backdoor flush draws or something like that. So here, yeah, queen 10, clear fold. We even decide here to give up on the 5-3 for once. We find the ace queen in the button, so actually it was pretty nice. We had some nice hands on the button, but we unfortunately did not get any action, so we got a walk here in the big blind. And yeah, he was building up, so you see he was closing the gap to me. Yeah, as again found a nice hand on the button. So it was a lot between the two of us, like stealing the blinds a lot. See, he goes here with a 3-bet. And here gets a little value out of his trips. So yeah, he was playing pretty well. And yeah, so let's see here. King 2 maybe could be one, at least call once to see what the turn brings. Maybe if there's a 3 or a heart or something. But yeah, we just had to get up again. Nice hand on the button. Nice hand here again. Yeah, we get a walk. So yeah, as you see, it was being pretty slow for the being four-handed. You see, it's not gonna be that much longer. I have to fold here to his 14 big blind shove. And yeah, then here I'd actually like to see or to read your comments on that hand. What do you think about this? So let's start again from the flop. I was limping, as I did a lot of times, and we flopped the open ender with some backdoor spades. He decides to continue for a little bit below half pot. We have an easy call, and we make the straight on the turn, and he suddenly decides to pot that turn. We can do anything but calling here. If he's bluffing, we should let him bluff. And yeah, the river is a total break. And yeah, now he goes for 1.5 times pot. What would you do? Leave your comments, please, in the video. We can have a look at that then. And yeah, I can just show you the result afterwards. So I'm happy to hear what you have in mind with this hand. So nothing special here. Then we got the raise and the call. Force versus ace king. The ace king is good. And suddenly we are three-handed. As you see, we were only second in chips at that time. There were already some negotiations about dealing, but I thought I still have enough of an edge. So, for example, here I know that he could raise so much because we're second in chips. So I decided here to turn around the aggression and yeah, just shoved my ace-2 suited here, blind v blind, all in, and yeah, he just folded. Yeah, then we have the aces here on the button. We have a pretty easy continuing here. The turn is not the best card. We don't have any hearts here, so I actually decide to check and yeah, just call any bet on the river because he can still have some kings he was value betting or some worse, maybe some worse second or third pair. Fortunately, he just turned the nut flush, but I think we did not lose that much, so all fine. As you see, we're like first place has like half the chips, and yeah, he's just continuing his aggression. However, I still was sure I'm gonna be doing fine. So yeah, to fight my way back to at least be even with him and to see from that. Here again, I'm pretty sure I should have just shoved pre-flop because there's not many flops that are good for us. And yeah, we just have to give up on so many boards. So small mistake from my side. And yeah, then just see is pretty pretty easy. I'm continuing with top pair. And yeah, just really slowly. As you see, like he's at least losing some chips, so the gap is becoming a bit bigger. We make the nut flush I think pretty standard, like we call the bet, and yeah, with the nut flush we can just get some value. We open the 8-7. Then I here decide to put on some pressure by just shoving because you can just shove so much and yeah, just get the chips. Here it was the first time he 3-betted me, so I think the ace-8 is an easy fold. Here ace-9 I was also thinking about just 3-bet shoving, but I thought we are at least deep enough so I can see a flop. Here I'm not so sure because I could probably have just called the flop bet and then move in on a lot of turns, but here I just decided to do that, so he folded. Then we decide to continue with our 2 overs and the gut shot. He checks behind, and the river we get our top pair, which is nice. So we want to go for a little value bet. He even calls, has the worst top pair, which is nice. And suddenly we were even chip leader again, which is pretty nice. And yeah, not long after that, so here we just chip it in. Yeah, exactly. So after that hand, we decided to have a deal, and we deal 3 ways. As you see, we were both like even in chips, so we both got dealt 3.8k. He got a little bit less, like I think shy of 3k, and yeah, we just shipped it in. Fortunately, he even binks his 2 order on the turn, but yeah, that's not important. So as you see, like nothing special here. I don't know why he was still folding the whole time, but yeah. that's how it ended. I hope you liked my hand review. For example, all the Flopzilla and Icemizer stuff we will also be doing in our individual lessons and in some in the group lessons. So again, just feel free to click on the link below to join our lessons and yeah, become a winning player on poker. So thanks for listening and we'll see us again in the near future. Bye.